Julie Pius with Coldwell Banker Milady Realtors in Eagle River, Wisconsin. It's March 3rd of 2011. The snow is starting to melt outside. We've had a couple of really nice days, and I think people are starting to look at real estate. It's getting exciting. The summer is coming. And I wanted to take a few minutes because it is that time of year to talk to you a little bit about buyer's agency today and what it means to you as a buyer in today's current market. First thing I'd like to point out is that state of Wisconsin, compared to some of the states that surround us, where a lot of people are coming from when they look at real estate, have a little bit different agency laws. I'll use Illinois for an example. I am told that in Illinois, when a real estate agent is working with a buyer, they are automatically a buyer's agent for that buyer. So they are automatically representing that buyer throughout the entire transaction. Wisconsin works a little bit differently compared to some of the other states. For example, in the state of Wisconsin, you don't actually have to declare who you're working for if you're working on behalf of the seller, on behalf of the buyer, until you actually draft that offer to purchase. Line 1 of the offer to purchase states, broker drafting this offer on such and such a date is doing so as a buyer's agent, seller's agent, or dual agent. And so technically, you don't really have to have that conversation until you draft the offer. But a lot of things happen, as we all know, while you're looking at homes, evaluating homes, trying to determine which property is the right property for you. And I think because of that, agency is something you definitely need to talk about with your real estate agent. That being said, I think the main thing to know is, remember, when the listing agent signs up a house, puts it in the MLS, they actually do a written agreement. They list that property, and that seller becomes then a client. Not a customer, but a client. As a client, that listing broker, that listing agent owe them certain duties. Duties they don't necessarily owe a customer, but they're duties of loyalty, to put their interest above other interests, to negotiate on their behalf, to disclose material facts that might be important to the seller during that transaction. And this is something to understand because as a seller's agent, how real estate agents might answer certain questions to you will be a little different if they're representing the seller versus if they're representing you, the buyer. And it might be a little bit of finesse or not a huge difference, but it is something that might be important to you if you thought or think or want buyer's agency representation. A couple of things an agent can do for you as a buyer's agent. They can do a CMA on your behalf to give you an idea of the value of that property you're considering. They can seek out liens, easements, anything about that property that might be important when you're drafting that offer. They can draft that offer thinking about your best interests, not necessarily the seller's best interests, and they can also negotiate a little bit stronger on your behalf. And these are all things that as a buyer in this market you might want. You might not, but I think it's definitely something you might want to talk to your real estate agent about. That being said, it's important, I think, to start this conversation the first time you get in a car with a real estate agent, the first time you start to look at property. Because quite honestly, some agents aren't as comfortable with buyer's agency as they are representing the seller. So you may want to make sure you're working with someone who is comfortable with it if it's a service you want. So definitely ask the questions. The WRA, the Wisconsin Realtor Association, has directly on their website some additional information about buyer's agency and gives some more specific examples of services and how it will act and work with you as a buyer. And I think another thing they put out is this fantastic buyer's agency brochure. I usually keep some of these in my car, so when I go out with somebody the first time, we can start that conversation early in our rapport building. And I think if you're working with somebody who is pretty good at buyer's agency, they should probably have one of these handy so that you can talk to them about it now. I think that's about it for today. Again, there's a lot more information about buyer's agency available. I just wanted to give you an idea about what it is, and again, just tell you, talk to your real estate agent about it. If you're looking up in northern Wisconsin and you want to purchase a property up here, call me, Julie Pius. I am your local real estate expert up here. And please check out my website, www.eagleriverhomefinder.com, or my blog site, www.juliesellswisconsin.com, for more information about this and northern Wisconsin real estate. Have a super day, and thanks, spring.